Pierre, welcome. How are you?
Very well, Mike. Good to visit with you.
Thank you. All right, Pierre, let's take them in a little bit of chronological order. Let's take the Rangers tonight as they get ready for a Game 4. Rangers got their win, one easy, one pretty. Where do you see that series right now?
Really important for the Rangers to get a lead tonight and play with the lead for good portions of the game, Mike. The third period the other night, even though the Rangers came from behind and found a way to win, you could see in the third period, especially in the later stages, the depth players for Washington, Joel Ward, Matthew Perreault, Jason Chimera, Matty Hendricks, they started to take over the game. Board battles were important, and they started to wear out the Rangers. Washington is clearly a four-line team. The Rangers are more like a 2.5-line team. So that's a bit of an issue, and I think John Tortorella is aware of that. That's why you saw him breaking up his lines a lot in game number 3, moving Aaron Asham around, moving Brian Boyle around. So it's really going to be important for the Rangers to get a lead tonight, Mike, and play with the lead if they want to have at least a Game 6 in this series.
Pierre, the Rangers finally got a couple of goals in this series. I mean, when you look at the Rangers and you see, the same problems all the time. Can they score? I mean, they finally scored on a power play. We know that. We know Washington has a great power play and can be very good offensively. I mean, let's look at the Rangers for a second. When you see them, anything you would tweak to make them more efficient offensively?
You just love to see better decision-making on the back end on the power play. Brad Richards has made some flawed decisions. I know they need him because they think that he's a legitimate quarterback on their power play, but Brad's made some tough decisions. They don't have really a lethal shot back there except for maybe Danny Girardi. You were hoping that Del Zotto would evolve more into the power play quarterback the Rangers need, but that hasn't materialized yet. He's still a real young player and still finding his way. He's going to be a very good player in the league. But I think the biggest thing is just getting better decision-making on the power play, Mike. For some reason, I don't know why, because I've said this to you for 2 years, Tortorella is a real smart power play coach. I'm telling you, I coached against him. I don't know what's gone wrong. Maybe it's a personnel decision. Maybe it's just bad decisions with some of the players, but their power play should be a lot more effective than it is.
All right. Washington, well, let's take it from their standpoint. Are you comfortable with where Washington is in this series right now?
If I were Adam Oates, I'd be very comfortable right now. You've shown that you can play a lot of tight games. That was a knock on your team. Well, now you've proven that you can play tight games. You proved that you come from behind and force the Rangers to feel a little uncomfortable on home ice. Your goaltender has held up. Braden Holtby's been as good as Henrik Lundqvist, even though I thought Lundqvist, the last 2 minutes of Game 3, was superhuman. I thought he was phenomenal in the last 2 minutes when Washington went on the power play and pulled their goalie. So I'd be comfortable fire Adam Oates. And the fact is that your best player, Ovechkin, has been your best player. And that's really important, as you know, Mike, whenever you're in a playoff series. If your best player is not your best player, chances are you're not going to have a lot of success.
All right, let's jump over to the fascinating Islander series after 4 games. We get the word today they're changing goalies, the Penguins, which isn't going to come to the surprise of anybody after watching Fleury play. How about the Islanders? How surprised are you to see them play this well in this series?
Well, first of all, I did Game 1, I did Game 2, I watched Game 3, and I watched parts of Game 4 last night. And the thing to me is that I thought they were a year ahead of their development just by making the playoffs. The fact that they've been able to do this is amazing, and it speaks to youthful enthusiasm. It speaks to pretty solid goaltending from the Nabokov, even though he wasn't great last night. It speaks to the star power of John Tavares that I've been telling you about since the lockout ended, how good this guy's going to be. And I think the biggest thing, Mike, is you want to accomplish 3 things in a playoff series. You want to have concern, you want to have doubt, and you want to have fear. That's what you want to plant in the brain of the opposition. I think the Islanders created concern. I think they've planted the seed of doubt. And the next option is make Pittsburgh fearful. And if they're able to win that game tomorrow night in Pittsburgh, those 3 things have been planted, and now they've got a real chance to create an upset situation.
And I'll tell you, I think already they're on solid footing. The other thing is that I noticed late in the game, they got under Pittsburgh's skin in Game 4. I mean, Pittsburgh started getting very chippy, very dirty, and I thought they got the favorites well off their game right now, because you shouldn't have to be resorting to that stuff against a team you're supposed to beat.
Correct, Mike, and that's why those three things matter: concern, doubt, and fear. So now the Pittsburgh Penguins are concerned. Now there's a level of doubt, and that's why they get frustrated. The next option is fear. And again, whenever I help to prepare playoff teams, that's what you used to stress to your players all the time. And you can see it. Pittsburgh, after Game 2, there was concern. Even though they won Game 3, there started to be a level of doubt. And now they've lost Game 4, there's doubt. And so that's why you get frustrated, and that's why you do what the Pittsburgh Penguins did at the end of that game.